Hello everybody, welcome back to Time God Z. I'm your host Vinny, and today we're doing a very telekinetic death battle reaction. Yeah, that could have been said better. Today we're actually reacting to a death battle between Tetsuo from Akira, the anime film, and Magneto, Marvel Comics. As you guys can clearly tell, I'm in the land of the Jurassic period. Now, I personally did that because, this week is not only the release of Jurassic World Dominion, but it's going to be fire, and I can't wait to see it. Unfortunately, though, I don't have any money. I'm broke.
Join the club. We've got jackets.
So anyway, with that stated, let's go ahead and move into the video. So, anyway, we'll get started in 3, 2. By the way, folks, as you all remember, sharing is caring, so make sure to share this with your friends, family, and strangers. So, I did not add the y'all, so give me the X point. Okay, alright. We begin in 3, 2, 1.
This episode of Death Battle is sponsored by HelloFresh and Bespoke Post.
Bespoke Post. I've never heard of that one. It's a new company, I presume. I don't know. Well, it's not one of my earphones.
Magneto, Marvel's mutant master of magnetism.
Alright.
Tetsuo Shima, Akira's telekinetic terror of Neo-Tokyo.
These two maestros of kinesis have ignited revolution not just in their worlds, but also the very mediums they exist within.
He wears an iron boomstick.
And it's our job to analyze their weapons, armor, and skills to find out who would win a death battle.
I think most people have probably gotten...
In the short duration of modern civilization, likely no conflict tested humanity more than the Second World War. In the primary Marvel 616 universe, this fact is no different, especially to the Eisenhart family and their only son.
You may know him as Magnus, Eric, or Max, but if you ask him,
Magnus?
he'd say his true name is Magneto.
As a Jewish child in Nazi Germany, Magneto's early life was, well, extremely traumatic.
Even after eventually escaping certain death with his future wife.
Thank you, my God. You like discrimination? I dislike discrimination.
Thanks to his unexpected mutation called the X gene, the mark of a superhuman. After settling down in Russia with his new family, the KGB quickly found out about this quirk, so they burned his house down with his own daughter inside.
Naturally, he snapped and killed them all. I don't blame him. I'd do that too. Yeah. Too bad his wife didn't get it and ditched him, though. But that's when Magneto made a choice. Since humans hurt him his entire life, he'd do the same to them in the name of mutants everywhere.
At first, Magneto turned to the telepathic powerhouse Charles
I don't think
Xavier
we're
and
getting
his
behind that,
team
but,
of heroes. But his new friend wasn't thrilled with the idea of, subjugating the human race. So, Magneto formed his own team of mutants, the Brotherhood.
Magneto can telekinetically move, bend, and reshape any metal he's aware of. Bullets, vehicles, buildings, you name it. Even himself when he manipulates his personal magnetic field for flight and energy barriers.
Magneto is far more versatile than it would appear at first glance. The blood in your body has iron in it. The air has traces of lead and mercury. Whole mountains are lined with metallic ore. The Earth itself is surrounded by a literal magnetic field.
Wow, this man,
many toys for Maggie to play with. He can detect magnetic fields at such a huge range. He can even pinpoint Earth's magnetic rays while stranded on a planet in another galaxy. And guess what? He was able to use those rays to pull himself back to Earth in a single day.
His range is even more remarkable than that. Did you know that in 1820, physicist Hans Christian Ørsted discovered that electric currents, like those of electrons and protons and atoms, produce their own magnetic fields? Magneto can fine-tune his control to affect these very subatomic particles. Dummy here will illustrate such a particle, with positively charged protons and negative electrons.
My life is as meaningless as an atom is small.
So what you're saying is Magneto could, yank one of those out?
Correct, potentially changing an atom's entire chemical makeup. However, neutrons do not have a charge, and without the ability to adjust those to accommodate the change in atomic mass,
don't touch that.
Unstable and
finally.
No! God, you just caused an explosion. Guys, we're back.
Do that.
Yeah.
Magneto's violent protest
you don't mess with the electron and the proton. That's the whole deal with the atom bomb.
Not unlike the ideologies taught by Malcolm X and Dr. King, by whom Stan Lee and Jack Kirby were inspired. Magneto would spend most of his career pushing Xavier away to prove his philosophies superior, which meant doing battle with Xavier's school of thought. Quite literally.
And Baldy's mind powers are no joke, but thanks to Magneto's psionic repelling helmet, Professor X couldn't touch him. Magneto survived Cyclops' earth-splitting lasers, absorbed the power of the sun to battle Iron Man, ripped the adamantium skeleton out of Wolverine's body, and even taken on Hercules himself. You know, the Greek legend, Zero to Hero? The guy who held up the skies of Olympus for Atlas? That Hercules.
Seems sensible. Magneto once used the Earth's magnetic field
There's
to
so many
overwhelm the
alliterations
Phoenix
of Hercules
Force,
and Greek mythology that honestly at this point I don't really know how to take it.
Hell, if he really wanted to,
Marvel's-
Magneto could
it's
totally
crazy,
just
it's crazy.
fling the Earth off its axis.
It's entirely possible he may have eventually resorted to just that. Over time, it became clear Magneto's war was doing far more harm than good for his fellow mutants, however well-intentioned he may have been at first.
Luckily, he later realized he was going a bit overboard and began reevaluating his perspective. Good for you, Mags. It's really tough to recognize when you're the baddie.
It took time and patience not just from Magneto, but also from his peers. Yet eventually, his path was completely changed. He even became a leader for Xavier's X-Men.
But don't let his new goody two-shoes ways fool you. Whenever there's a threat to mutants, you can bet Magneto will be there to annihilate it. Forever, by any means necessary.
Okay, I completely get that. Okay, so very kind of legit dude. He seems to have had, he disliked discrimination. I completely respect that. And it's really cool to know that Jack Kirby and a lot of those Marvel writers were inspired by the people of Malcolm X. Well, not just Malcolm X, but Martin Luther King more importantly, because that's my philosophy behind it is peace. And personally, to see this character make a complete turnaround is absolutely, that's cool. I mean, maybe in one universe he's still a villain, but, it's just cool that to know that they've actually implied that in here and made it seem like, oh, he's made a, complete turnaround. So, yeah, I can't wait to see it. I heard his feats, though, and I gotta admit, punching Iron Man with the force of the sun is a little bit deadly. So, I don't know. I haven't really seen Tetsuo ever pull anything off, but there's also a manga version of Akira, and apparently it's super long. So, I can only imagine. I haven't really read it myself, but that's what I'm leaving these guys to do for me. So anyway, let's get into
Over
this.
30 years ago, a new type of bomb was set off over Tokyo, and 9 hours later began the Third World War.
Welcome to 2030, or 2019 if you're watching the anime. The buildings are taller.
Wow, that happened 3 years
motorcycles
ago.
are cooler, and the future is brighter. Oh, wait, not really.
We're not
if
yet
you find
there.
yourself in the Capsule Gang, you'll meet Shotaro Kaneda, who's like your textbook.
And we haven't made
dad,
capsules from
gets
Dragon
ladies,
Ball.
meets
What's up,
baddies,
y'all?
and cops the sweetest rigs. Man, I need to get me one of those.
And then there's the little brother of the group, Kaneda's best friend, Tetsuo Shima. He's, well,
The exact opposite. A total wimp. As a kid, Tetsuo in his college thesis forehead got bullied for
19.
being the new kid at the orphanage. That's until Big Bro Kaneda came to the rescue.
eventually the two went to vocational school together and formed the Capsules.
Dictator
but
of the
Tetsuo
illustrious
was never
Great Tokyo
satisfied with
Empire.
Kaneda being the leader of the pack. Tetsuo desired more than anything to be top dog.
Oh, I can just see that monkey's paw curling in my mind. Or that kid walking down the street. Shit! Tetsuo, watch out! You're gonna... That definitely should have killed him. But since it didn't,
Yeah, it did.
Tetsuo
I'm
earned
surprised
himself a
it didn't
ticket
when
to
I first seen
military
it. I was like,
confinement.
whoa.
Turns out they had an under-the-table program for developing child superweapons.
In the same program that backfired and jump-started the war, Tetsuo became Japan's Esper number 41.
He may not have been a natural with bikes, baddies, or babes, but this telekinesis stuff hit different. He walked out of that hospital ward effortlessly flying, reading minds, and blending people into strawberry jelly. Tetsuo got what he wanted. Power, along with the hunger for more of it.
A hunger that used to only be satiated with drugs. And not just any gateway drug, pills so potent that a single gram of the stuff could kill you.
So, pretty bad. Kinda reminds me of college days, huh? Snow wizard.
Tetsuo's
joke.
main ability is his constantly increasing psionic energy, growing more and more powerful over time. This is due to Tetsuo's link to, quote, the memories of the universe, end quote. It's weird.
Either way, Tetsuo leveled up
Yeah,
from
it
lady
really is.
gangbuster to certified badass. This guy is a walking natural disaster. His telekinesis can shake the planet, easily cause earthquakes over a dozen miles below the surface. He can summon psychic barriers for defense and crush foes with friggin' gravity wells. He can dart around as a literal bolt of lightning or even teleport in an instant.
Tetsuo's telekinesis can be so precise he can target and obliterate specific parts of the body. He can heal severe wounds quickly, but even after losing a whole limb, he can craft a new one using whatever nearby materials he wants.
With these powers, Top Dog Kaneda didn't matter anymore. Who needed his approval? Tetsuo tasted that good shit and he was hooked. And when he found out another Esper named Akira could deal him even more power, he rampaged through Tokyo to find him.
And this is where versions of the story differ.
Spoilers ahoy!
You may be familiar with the 1988 animation, where Akira had been dissected for research. However, in the original manga, Akira is not only alive, but even more powerful.
Once that little runt nuked Tokyo, Tetsuo would erect the Great Tokyo Empire with Akira and himself as its leaders. But he ended up just abusing the position for endless sex and inflating his ego.
With Kaneda's rebellion at his front door, Tetsuo took a turn for the worse. He had to fight.
He really did.
Tetsuo's defeated other powerful Espers, dodged light-speed lasers, and jumped to the moon faster than anyone could blink, and then punched a big old hole in it. And if you ask, Boomstick, wouldn't that mess up gravity on Earth? You would be right, because it totally did. Screwed the planet, I guess. Stupid moon.
Which brings us to Tetsuo's folly. His abuse of his powers spiraled until he lost control. Unfortunately for Kaneda's rebellion, this did not make Tetsuo an easier enemy to confront. Exactly opposite, in fact, as Tetsuo painfully mutated into an unstoppable behemoth.
Yep, that's not totally disturbing at all.
I'm happy to say the manga's version is even more disturbing.
I mean, I know babies can be monsters, but that's a whole nother level.
It is pain incarnate. I can relate. Another Esper described Tetsuo's struggle as ego death, which has multiple definitions, but in this case is likely symbolic of the version attributed to drug use.
Yeah, it's described as a shedding of one's own identity, like how LSD can emulate a wild out-of-body experience, and you come back with a new perspective. Though this is maybe a little more extreme. In fact, you could say Tetsuo was shedding his human body to play with the powers of a god.
I wish I could shed out of my body. But in this case, Tetsuo going full out-of-body meant becoming a mound of raw, ever-expanding energy.
Which almost nuked Tokyo all over again. And those explosions are not normal. I would know.
Top scientists in both the manga and animated versions describe these explosions as births of a new universe.
Given its properties of nuclear fusion and proton collapse, Tetsuo's mutated form was likely creating a Big Bang.
You know, the thing that started our whole universe?
Right. In the manga, it instead ended the Espers and their abilities once and for all. A testament that humankind is unsuited to wield the powers of the divine.
Though the anime's even more trippy. Thanks to Akira and his buddies, Tetsuo got so high on ego death, he ascended time-space to become god of a new universe. Kinda worth it, right?
And yet, Kaneda kept his empire up in his honor, now as the Great Akira Empire. Ironically, in death, Tetsuo finally received the attention he so desperately craved.
So, I absolutely, you know, like, I get that aspect of his being, like, with a, you know, I did kind of forget about it. I never really did read, you know, like, that was the deal. I watched the movie, and some people said that the movie was different from the manga, and at first I was like, okay, that's not that different, but then I'm like, wow, this man did get all that he wanted, but at the end of the day, it didn't end the way it was. It's the same result. So, and honestly, that quote, it's a weird quote. It's actually, it's a philosophical quote in the real world, but it's from Descartes. I think, therefore I am. And I really thought that was a profound quote in regards to everything. And the way, like, he is as a character, it's really awesome to actually watch anime and have that such a profound, moments within them. So, but anyway, in regards to his power, if he has the power of a Big Bang or a universe, it's kind of hard. Like, I feel like that might be where it comes down to, but I don't really know. Magneto has some incredible abilities of his own.
Even in Japan, they fail to recognize our superiority. Wrong country, Grandpa.
Ooh.
You're an Akira turf now.
All right.
You're dead meat.
I like the music here. It's pretty fire. Okay.
Impudent child.
The hell are you calling child? I make the rules around here.
I mean, you are a child. You're 19, so there's that, you know. Oh. Yep, send it right back. Yep, there it is.
You're wasting my time.
Oh, that. Ooh, okay. Got him. So.
Politics for the master of magnetism.
You don't really care. Yeah, sending a building on top of him, I don't think that's gonna work.
I'll kill you.
Ooh, dang. Magneto, you better look out.
Your history, scumbag.
Oh, dang. Okay. All right. Dang. Dang! Okay. Pulling that Z-Dash up on him. Okay, I see that. Okay. Oh. That's not good. Oh, he broke his Sonic helmet. So. Dang. Is this man really gonna win like that? Oh no. Oh.
I believe I've had enough tantrums to last a lifetime.
Oh no. Bro, you might just end. Oh yeah, you might just end this universe. Okay, why does it seem more disturbing than the actual anime? Like, I'm sorry.
Hurts. Help me.
Magneto, you better do some favors for him, okay? Go ahead and kill him. There you go. Nice, there you go. Go ahead and just... Oh no.
Poor child.
There you go. No, that's over, man. Peace out. Do yourself a favor. Goodbye.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Good job, man.
Welcome.
Good job. Helped him end it. But yeah, okay. That makes sense.
Tetsuo! Oh, God.
Don't choke yourself out, my boy.
Doing that again.
There you go.
Tetsuo's esoteric telekinesis
All right,
and
Magneto
other
is stronger,
first power
faster, and
abilities certainly
tougher.
gave Magneto
All right.
pause, but the master of magnetism had greater control over his foe.
The numbers don't lie. Tetsuo cratering the moon was insane, but Magneto punched
Those
Iron
advocates
Man
of
with
the
the
first
force of
round
the
of
sun.
version
And
is
while
on
Tetsuo jumped all the way to the moon, Magneto could move across galaxies.
Against Tetsuo in his human form, Magneto obviously held a sizable advantage in power and speed.
But stats aren't all that matters. With his precise telekinesis, Tetsuo could just target Magneto's organs. GG, right?
Yes, but Magneto had similar skills. There are very few substances on Earth that lack any metallic or magnetic component, and Magneto is very creative with his powers.
Which
That
he
is.
could use to predict Tetsuo's
I feel like with abilities,
teleportation
like,
and
well,
even
we'll
shut
talk
down his
about that.
telekinesis. And his scraps with Xavier prove he could handle Tetsuo's messing with his head. The biggest challenge for Magneto was when Tetsuo's gross mutated power came into play.
Especially given how the detonations from this form were compared to that of a Big Bang. Although the authenticity of that observation is questionable. In truth,
Right.
the Big Bang was a sudden expansion of matter on a universal scale, whereas Tetsuo's explosions are more akin to nuclear blasts, clearly intentional given the post-war symbolism of the Akira story.
The whole creating an alternate universe bit wasn't even part of the original material, so we can't exactly call it canon.
But let's just say the comparison wasn't superfluous. Let's say Tetsuo did in fact cause a Big Bang capable of creating or destroying an entire universe, alternate or otherwise.
Turns out Magneto had the tools to stop that too. Helmet Head could overpower Hercules,
Space
who
isn't
was strong enough
necessarily
to hold up the
heaven. Like, you
skies
can't
of
really
Olympus,
judge
which
something
is
based on
literally
something that's
heaven
not a part
and
of
an
our
alternate
universe. I mean,
universe.
it is what
This
it
doesn't
is.
necessarily mean
You know
Magneto
what I mean?
can easily destroy a universe
kinda-
with the snap of his fingers, but it does
a little
prove he
bit
can
fidgety.
match a similar level of power. And context is everything. Tetsuo's Big Bang eruption specifically exhibited proton collapse, meaning its atomic structure was primarily an unstable mess of neutrons and electrons. And Magneto has detected and commanded unstable electrons before. This means Magneto had every means available to take control over this Big Bang.
Damn, and I thought he could just move some metal around. It's like the question posed by some of the greatest prophets of our time. Fucking magnets. How do they even work?
Magneto's astonishing power
Yeah.
and
Like,
intelligent
sir,
control
I'm not doing
over
this
all
anymore.
things magnetism
Get out.
triumphed.
The badass
Yeah.
jokes ain't that
Tetsuo
like,
pushed
and I'm not
his
saying that
luck,
in my
but didn't
I mean
have
just
the
bad in
metal
general.
to pull off the
You
win.
say they take, you
The
know,
winner
like, whatever.
is Magneto.
All right. Well, what's the next one? Let's see what we got. Who is it? What? Dang! Wow. That was so... That is like so awesome. I'm curious because it's like Sun Wukong, really? You're gonna go with the legend? Like you're gonna go with that and then Hercules, like East versus West, literally, in that same regard. Like again, wow. I'm almost like a little kid here. I'm ecstatic. So disregarding my hype for that, this Magneto versus Tetsuo death battle, we're gonna review that. First off, animation we went back to pixels, which was okay. We've seen a little bit of different other animations, more style in that, which is appropriate, and I like that. Their explanation for Tetsuo was for why he lost his battle was actually very appropriate. The same thing with Magneto. For this death battle, it was hard, and because telekinesis is more about manipulation of mind, I feel like the person who was older would have had a better shot in this. Yeah, maybe strength would have played and attributed to this, but again, this ultimately came down to the experience, and considering that magnetism is, I presume, is a very hard ability. Like, if you're going to be affecting, messing anything that has any sort of metal in it, you have to be knowledgeable and aware of your surroundings and what you have available in your arsenal. Because if you can't use a weapon, you don't have energy projectiles and things like that. So, I mean, you do, but you have to be aware of your surroundings and realize what you have available. And then you can turn whatever in your surroundings into projectiles and sticks and shit that you can throw at your enemies. So, yeah. Very understandable approach. I thought this death battle was, made a lot of sense, and it was honestly stacked up appropriately. There's no real, there's no imbalances. I feel like this was pretty stacked up. I feel like, though, I was surprised to find out that the universe Big Bang thing at the end of Akira was not actually canon. In fact, that was more of a added in on the anime part, which actually makes sense because this was supposed to be reflecting World War II themes. If you guys have never watched Akira, I do recommend watching it. I don't want to be like one of those people out there like, only true anime fans watch this film, because that's not really the case. Anybody can watch it with animation and anime in general. So anyway, the anime is a classic. So if you have not watched that, please go check it out. I think it's free on Tubi. There's tons of places you can watch this for free. You can go online and find it. It's not that difficult. So what are you waiting for? Go watch it now. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and head on in here. So once again, thank you guys so much for checking this out. This was my reaction to Magneto vs. Tetsuo, Marvel vs. Akira Death Battle. If you are new to the channel, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. And I also want everybody to comment down below what you guys thought about this death battle. And let me know your hype for the next death battle, because I'm super excited for that. We're dealing finally with mythological beings, and I feel like at some point we were going to do this with death battle. Like, we were going to dig in and dive with the next, big people, because not only do we have pop culture, we have that mythological culture. So now we're going to figure out and see, do the myths match up to one another? Or, we'll see. But like I said, it'll depend on which alliteration they're going with. If, are they going off the cartoon series? Or are they going off, what are they going off of? Because I don't really know that for myself. And, you know, just we'll have to wait and see. Also, shout outs to the last video that I released. It was absolutely fire. And thank you guys so much for the support and the love and all the comments I've gotten from that video, giving me some tips and pointers. I really appreciate that. And, you know, I'll try to keep moving forward with that. And that's kind of what we're doing here tonight. We're going to give this a shot. And we're going to see overall what you guys feel like, you know, like that's the deal. I'm always welcome and open to comment and criticism. Like, you have to be open to that to improve and grow as a person. So please, if you do have a suggestion for me to try and do on this channel or whatnot, or you guys have a video idea, or if you guys want to even collab, hit me up and we can do something like that. So once again, thank you guys so much for checking this out. I love y'all, and I'll see everybody in the next video of Time God DBZ. Have a blessed day, and I'll see you guys then. God bless, and peace.